back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to do a story titled, Am I the A-hole for calling the police on my ex-wife? And a shout out to Thomas for sending this great story. And guys, this story is about a guy, an ex-husband, who definitely gets to have the last laugh and some revenge when his cheating ex-wife shows up on his doorstep more than a decade after they parted ways. You're going to see here, both in terms of his story and other parts I'll read later on in the comment section, how she really did him wrong in the worst way. Not only cheating on him and leaving to Australia, marrying the guy she was cheating on with, but also really left him in a big financial mess, amongst many other things. And of course, as they typically do when things go bad, they always come back. So for all you guys out there that have had bad situations, bad breakups, divorces where you've been done wrong, you'll appreciate this, because I'm sure even the best of you would certainly get a kick out of getting a little revenge on the one that does you wrong. And if you don't, well, you need to work on your a-hole skills, because you can't last too long in this community if you don't have a little bit of an a-hole in you. So it starts off, says here, I was at home at 3 p.m. this afternoon, which is very rare in itself, since I normally don't get home from work until at least 6 p.m. I was upstairs and heard a knock on the front door, and then heard the doorbell ring. From the upstairs window, I saw an unfamiliar car idling in my driveway, but I could not see the driver. On the front porch, I saw a woman with light-colored hair looking back toward the car, and she seemingly arrived in. I was fairly certain it wasn't a solicitor trying to sell me magazine subscriptions or a Jehovah or Mormon wanted to sell me their belief. I decided to answer the door. Okay, here we go. Well, I opened the front door and was about to open the glass storm door when the woman turned around and I realized who it was. My ex-wife. Yeah, the last person he wants to see. For the sake of this post, I will call her Amy. Well, you might as well call her Jessica, because that's her name, and I don't care if she sees this. I froze my hand on the door handle. I'm not sure if I was planning to open it or hold it tightly shut so she couldn't get in. Amy had been smiling when she turned around, but as soon as she saw my reaction and the look of shock, disgust, and loathing on my face, she began to cry. Hobag Handbook Chapter 2. Always. That might be Chapter 1, because that's the first go-to method when things don't go their way. They learn this as little girls. Well, we both stood there like that for at least 15 seconds. I hoped I was just having a nightmare and would soon wake up. Then it finally clicked in my mind that one of the two human beings I despised more than anything in this world was in fact standing right in front of me. Well, who's the other human being? I want to know who that is. I pulled up my cell phone and began recording, mostly just for the audio, as I couldn't focus enough to worry about the visuals. Very smart. Very smart. This guy clearly reads a lot of Reddit stories. I motioned for her to back away from the door and then said loudly, "Get back from the door." She turned around and took two steps down off the stoop and then stood on the walkway. I opened the door and stepped outside. I asked her what was she doing there, mixed with an overwhelming amount of profanity thrown in. She began to try to speak, but her voice was trembling and there was something up with her face. It looked like she'd gotten Botox on one side or something. Her speech was slurred and I could only understand every third word she said. What the hell? Before she could even finish her first sentence, I said, "You know what? I don't even care why you're here. I'm calling the police. Get the fuck off my property." I'm sure that felt good to say. I heard her say, "Please," followed by more gibberish, but I turned and walked back into the house where I dialed 911. When the dispatcher answered the call, I told him I needed police at my address to remove someone from the property. After ending the phone call, I watched my ex slowly make her way to the waiting car gingerly, not exactly limping, just walking kind of funny. She got in the car, and I hoped the car would back out and they'd leave. But they just sat there and sat and sat. Well, she's trespassing. He told her to leave. She's not leaving. Her and her mystery driver. Maybe there was some consoling going on there. I don't know. Maybe they wanted the cops to show up. Again, I don't know. But before they could leave, a squad car pulled up, blocking my driveway, and the two cops got out. Get your popcorn out, gentlemen. One cop came toward the front door where I was waiting to explain why I called. The other officer approached the vehicle and got their identification. I told the cop my ex-wife was in the passenger seat of that car over there, and I wanted her removed and to get a restraining order to keep her away. The policeman held up his hands telling me to slow down. He said he could help me file paperwork to get the RO, but judges grant those, not the police. I insisted I still wanted Amy removed, which he agreed to. He asked how long it has been since I had seen or communicated with my ex before today. I knew it had been well over a decade. January would have been the 20th anniversary of my dumbass making the biggest mistake in my life. We weren't married but a few years and lied about the length of separation to divorce as fast as possible after she cheated. It had been 16 years. She moved to Australia and married some dude. Then one day, she messaged me on Facebook like we couldn't let bygones be bygones and have some kind of friendship. Of course, that's what they think. Because they're so amazing that after cheating on you, leaving the country, marrying some other guy, and leaving him a big mess, which I'll get to later, that she's so amazing you want to be friends with her. Get the F out of here. I reply with a lengthy response detailing how much I despise her and how every horrible thing I hoped happened to her and those she loved. Whoa. Okay, this guy has a lot of freaking anger and he's been burned pretty bad. I get that, but I got no problem with him having it on her, but not the people she loves. I told her that I hope they saved an extra crispy section of hell just for her, and I hope that she got to see it soon. I told her to never contact me or any member of my family ever again. I stated she was 100% demonically evil, and the worst day of my entire life was the day I met her because she ended up destroying everything I worked so hard to accomplish. Well, we'll get into more of that, guys. Are you sure her name isn't Jessica? After that, I deleted my Facebook account. Yes, something good came out of a bad situation, and that was the last time I communicated with her any way, shape, or form. This is getting too long, so let me get to the point. Amy told the police she just wanted to talk to me, and they told her they were certain I did not want to talk to her. Yeah, a little more than certain, officer. She wrote down a phone number and email for them to give to me, urging me to contact her. Then they told her to leave and not come back. If she was seen on the property again, within 48 hours, they would arrest her for stalking, trespassing, and other crimes. I don't know where they went after she left. Okay, y'all heard it. The police made it abundantly clear. Get out of here. If you're back here in 48 hours, we will arrest you. Can't mess that up. Apparently, it was somewhere she could write a letter or she'd already written one. Because a few hours ago, when my Ring camera caught her putting a large envelope on my steps. She's back. I didn't actually take them seriously. Well, I saved the footage and called the police once again. They were the ones who opened the letter. I had zero interest in reading it, so I let them take it as evidence. Amy just got arrested at the hotel she was staying in. Hey, he told her. Made it as clear as day. I don't know if she has the money for bail, and I don't care. But yes, I will be pressing charges, and I've requested a restraining order. Well, now he has reason to get it. Now, some of you might be thinking, my God, this guy's full of hate. Can't he let it go? What did she do to him? Well, there's a lot of shit. But we all know she cheated. We all know she abandoned him. We all know a lot of bullshit. My family is all deceased. I live in my childhood home, which I inherited from my mom 6 years ago. Amy may have expected my mom to answer the door. I have one single friend remaining from longer than 16 years ago that remembers the hell that Amy put me through. He, too, was shocked that she showed up all those years after the fact. But he said I should have just talked to her and read the letter without getting her arrested thousands of miles from home. Okay, Mr. Tampon Dispenser. No, he had every right to get her arrested. She crossed the line. I'm glad he has a bro from 16 years ago. That bro, come on. I told him in our last communication, I told her I never wanted to see her again and would never forgive her for destroying my life and riding off into the sunset. I had no way to punish her or make her regret her actions all those years ago, so if anyone wants to call it revenge, I'm good with that. I got no problem with revenge. I just don't want this guy going through life so hateful. Hate's okay for a while. It can get you through some tough times, but okay, gotta let it go. I just don't care why she came back or even is to apologize or give me $1 million. I want nothing from that evil witch except to be left alone. And Buddy said getting her arrested was kind of an a-hole move, despite what she did. Well, smack to the Buddy. Again, Mr. Tampon Dispenser. You had a right to get her arrested. She was warned. So am I the a-hole for getting my ex arrested and taken to jail for deeds she did when W was still in the Oval Office? Not my opinion, man. Not on this channel. Nobody's going to call you the a-hole. But I think a lot of people will agree with me that when he's wishing not only her but her family suffer and go to hell and burn in hell and all that stuff like that, then that's a bit too far. So no, he had every right. And how many of you guys have been burned really bad? A breakup, divorce. This would be a dream come true, getting your ex arrested and having her come back. Because they don't come back when things are going good for them. They come back when they're in a lot of trouble. And usually that's when the guy they cheated on you with or did something bad with did the same thing to them. And they think that you're such a nice guy simp that you'll take her back. And of course you don't. But now we're going to get into more details here in this amusing little story, because I know you're all wondering, what the hell did she do to him? He says here, someone below said I need to add this information to the post. So I'm requesting I make an edit. At one point, Amy was diagnosed as bipolar, borderline schizophrenic with multiple personality disorder. That's what they called it back then. I know there's a new term. I stood by her through all her struggles and saved her life more than once. She is dangerous. I can't say I fear she'll physically attack me or be able to do things if she did, but who knows what the latest personality she picked up over the last 16 years is capable of. My time with her affected my mental and physical health. I'd rather not be exposed to any of her badness if I can do so. Well, we're not done yet, guys. So now we're getting somewhere. Borderline schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder, bipolar. She's a lot of stuff there. Now he says here in the comment section, because the whole comment section is full of people asking questions, he's more than happy to answer them. He says, she abandoned me at a time of a major financial issues. Due to her. I ended up having to file bankruptcy because of the bills that she left me with. Yeah, I wouldn't forgive that. She abandoned the 2 cats and 2 ferrets she had to have. I love them all, but it was me who had to deal with the grief when they passed away. We had a cat named Prince I had to put down last July at 21 years old. I thought that was the last trace of her in my life forever. Poor cat. Well, 21 years with a cat, that's a gift. The cops gave me her number and email. No matter what tea she has to reveal, I won't undo the damage she did or give me all the time and money back. Yeah, I secretly hope life has gone horrible for her. But no matter how well or poorly her life has gone, it doesn't fix mine back. Okay, there you go. Well, we're not done yet. More stuff. Left him high and dry with all this debt that he had to declare bankruptcy. Now, I might add, you declare bankruptcy, that's on your fucking credit report for a long-ass time, affecting when you want to take out a loan to get a car, if you can't pay for a car in cash, or buy a house or a condo, amongst many other things, and the cost for the bankruptcy and all that stuff like that, and frankly, the humiliation, all because of debt she racked up. And he wasn't married to her that long. One guy asked him, any chance your buddy was one of those people she had affairs with? Because it seems like his feelings are stronger for her than you. And our guy responds, interesting angle, I hadn't even thought about that. But no, I've known him since he was 10 years old and I was 11. He wouldn't even think of betraying me, even if he was given the opportunity. He's just a nice dude that is capable of compassion, something I have none of when it comes to her. As effed up it is, and what she put me through, when she finally cheated, she came straight out and told me. What made her betrayal so bad was that I was enduring what I was enduring when she chose to cheat and when she chose to tell me. It's a miracle either of us is still living, but I never laid a finger on her. Well, that's great if his buddy is loyal and all that. I hope that's the case, but sadly, you just never know. Another thing he says here about her and his situation with her, he says, yeah, she lost that chance. Not to go into too much detail, but while we were married, she got drunk with a friend of hers that I couldn't stand and went swimming. She dove into the pool in the shallow end like an idiot and hit the right side of her head. Long story short, after a helicopter ride to University Hospital, she was paralyzed from the neck down on her left side. Oh my God. For days, doctors worked with her, but she had no feeling on the left side of her body at all. They began trying to prepare us for the possibility that she might never walk again. So after 4 days by her side and not one of her so-called friends showing up to check on her, I closed the door. I told her when I took my vows, I meant them, especially the in sickness and in health part. I asked where her dear friends were, why they weren't looking after her. She just cried knowing I was right. I told her I would look after her from that day forward if I defeated and bathed her myself. I was going to be loyal. I insisted she change her number and email so the dregs of society she associated with couldn't contact her again. She readily agreed. Then, 2 days later, she started feeling the needle-like sensations in her left foot. At first it scared her, but then she realized any feeling was a good feeling. 2 days after that, she went home walking on her own with no side effects. Some would call that a life debt. To think I actually would have stayed with her by her side looking after her if she'd remained paralyzed. But she betrayed and abandoned the one person who had been there for her when she was the most afraid and her life turned upside down. No way in hell I'd look after her. Let that next dumbass who married her look after her. Hear that? So she was a trouble back then. And she could have been paralyzed half her body. He was there with her. And he thought it was going to happen. None of her so-called friends were there to look in on her. And then after she got better, she pulled all that shit. So you can see all these things why he has such disdain for her. Let's see, one more. He says, I did wonder who was in the car with her. I won't lie, she can't have kids. So if she shows up with a baby, it might be able to get her arrested on kidnapping charges. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that, she has his kid or something. I agree seeing her shouldn't have set me off like this, but you must understand I thought all that was in my past. That I put all behind me. Out of sight, out of mind, until someone out of her mind shows up after 16 years. Because of her, I missed out on opportunities and had to rebuild my life from scratch all over again. I can't help but wonder how much better my life would have been had she never entered the picture. I was doing so well in so many areas, and then my dumbass gave her a chance. I'll always be mad at myself for being a dumbass, and I married her. So there you go, guys. I think that's sound enough reason to have a lot of disdain towards her and all that. But I think our guy needs to now try to let go of that hate, find some peace. But then again, I guess he's had his peace. But the second he saw her, boom, hate is not something you want to have too long. Hate can get you through some major shit. Hate and revenge. But eventually, you gotta let that shit go. Otherwise, they win. I mean, really. They'll eat you away from the inside out. But anyhow, guys, I thought it'd be a pretty funny one to go over here. Because again, how many of you guys love some payback? The last laugh. Even to get your ex arrested and showing up on your property after doing you wrong so badly many years ago. So good for him. But something tells me this isn't over yet. So if any of you guys happen to see an update to this, like she comes back again or some other damn thing, you guys let me know and I'll cover it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys. Do you think he went too far? Do you think he's the big a-hole? I'm going to guess that 98.2% of you will say he's not the a-hole, but some people will just to fuck with the comment section will say he is the a-hole. But I want to hear from you anyway. Let's get some discussion here. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.